Hi, I'm Susan Papanicholas from How Does Your Garden Grow in Seattle, Washington. I'm here today at the beginning of September in a client's garden to show you this really beautiful Sedum Autumn Joy. Sedum Autumn Joy actually has a bunch of different names. I always call it Sedum Autumn Joy, but you'll also see it as Sedum Herbstfrüh. I'm not sure I'm saying that correctly because it's not a word I ever use. I call it Sedum Autumn Joy. And also these upright sedums have been pulled out of the sedum genus botanically into a genus called Hylotelephium. And so you'll sometimes see it as Hylotelephium Autumn Joy. But mostly when I buy this at the nurseries or talk about it in people's gardens, I see it and call it Sedum Autumn Joy. Whatever you call it, it's really beautiful, easy to grow, and adds a lot to the garden. It starts out as a small little plant with succulent leaves in the spring, and it'll stay kind of like as a low mound of these very fleshy, thick leaves. And then towards the end of summer, those stems elongate and get these really pretty lime green buds on them. Over the course of late summer and into early fall, the lime green buds start getting a pink tinge to them, open up into these umbels or clusters of flowers that are kind of a darker pink. And then as we move into fall, when they get frost, they're gonna dry up and turn brown on the stem. It gets some yellow fall color in the fall before the whole plant dries up, and you're left in winter with kind of a brown stalk with the brown flower stem left on top of it. In some situations, that gives really beautiful winter interest. It feels very wintry, it has a lot of texture to it. It can be really beautiful in the winter garden. In other situations, people like things a little more tidy, and they just cut that brown stuff off as soon as it turns brown, and you're left with just a low mound of the tiniest little green leaves, just barely under the surface of the soil, and then start putting out leaves again. I always call it extra credit gardening if in mid-June or so or early June you pinch the tips off of your sedum. That's going to help it stay a little bit more compact, a little bit more branched, and you'll get a bushier plant that blooms a little later too, which is kind of nice because you push it out of a time when a lot of other things are blooming into September when there's not a lot blooming in the garden. And it helps it from getting a little bit scrawny. Like sometimes if you don't pinch the tips, you get a plant that has fewer branches and they're very tall and skinny. So you don't need to do that, but like I said, if you want extra credit when you're gardening, you can do that at the beginning of summer. It's a really easy plant to grow. It's very drought tolerant. It likes full sun and doesn't need much from you to look really beautiful. I like to grow it in people's gardens where I can put it in repeating clusters because that can look really pretty through the garden. I like to put it in places where I'm using a drought tolerant garden and it's great for full sun.